Sean Myers joined by the head coach of Greater Latrobe Baseball, Matt Basciano, before his team enters the Class 4A championship game. Coach Basciano going for his second WPIAL title. And before we talk about the championship game, Matt, to get here is a great accomplishment. Your team had a really good regular season, winning the section title. You've continued that through the playoffs. What have been keys in the 3 postseason victories?
As we talked before, Sean, the key to this group is really buying into that team concept. They would not be as successful as they are if they did not believe in that. Everyone pulls for one another, the cheering, the camaraderie. They are one single unit. One guy steps up no matter what game it is. Someone slips, someone else steps up. It's that true team concept.
Usually it seems like when a team wins a championship or even makes it to a championship, you can look back early in the playoffs and see one game that was sort of a defining moment where they were tested and made it through. I think the first round against Kiski area came down to a 7-6 victory, a kind of a wild late game scenario that your team prevailed in. How much momentum did that build that you were able to take into the next couple of rounds?
Oh, that was huge. Such an emotional win. But looking back at what they did throughout the season, from the difficult exhibition schedule that they had to the section games, tight ones come from behind, they were tested. And that's what we kept telling them after those games, to put that in the bank, store it there, and you will see it again. And sure enough, that refuse to lose mentality that they have, the whatever it takes to get it done, it showed up there. And the whole season built up to that moment, and that was a huge victory for them. That we always talk about believing, and they truly came out of that believing that no matter the situation, no matter the score, that they're going to do whatever it takes to get that next W.
And then you defeat Char Valley in the quarterfinals, and then the upset of Montour, the top seed, in the semifinals. When you think to those 2 games, what really stood out about your team's effort?
It probably does go back to that Kiski game, like you said, that they truly believed they were going to win. And no matter the situation, they were going to find a way. And going up against great teams, Char Valley, a perennial 5A powerhouse, and to get that victory against them. And then Montour, they won states last year, WPIAL finalists the last 2 years, a great program in itself. And they don't look at anyone as being better or bigger than them. They don't look at the situation anymore as being too big. They take it truly one game, one team at a time, and they're going to do whatever it takes to get that victory.
I know that the players deserve so much credit, but I think the way that the playoffs are set up, it tests the coach a little bit how to juggle the quarterfinals and semifinals, knowing that if you win in the quarterfinals, you're playing the very next day, and obviously pitch counts and rest comes into play. How did you approach that? How did it work out in terms of the pitching staff?
Yeah, it was a little different this year, the way they had it set up. But we were just going with the same rotation we've had, with Bradish first and Smith second, and we're going to stick with it. We're not going to change anything that worked up to this point, and we have confidence in whoever we throw out there on the mound that they're going to do their job, and that's exactly what we saw from them so far.
Who were some of the guys in the lineup who really excelled, especially against the Spartans in that upset victory?
Eli Boring is having a fantastic run here in the playoffs now. But other than that, I've said it before, one guy's hot one day and then he may slip a little bit and someone new steps up the next day. 1 through 9, we count on every single one of them. Guys we plug in, whether that's courtesy running, pinch hitting, on the mound, in relief. We have confidence in every single one of these kids. So when I say it's truly a team effort, it really is. Eli's been carrying the hot stick as of lately, but Tony Mazzari, Bradish up to that point, Eric Batista. I mean, you could go on, Kramer. You could go on forever, because it seems like each day someone else steps up big, and that's that team mentality, and that's why they are where they are.
And one of the other players who has stepped up and had some really crucial hits is your son, Dante. I know that has to be extra special for you because not only is he helping the team that you coach win, but obviously as a father, that probably goes to an even higher level than as a coach. What's that dynamic been like for you?
Any coach will tell you how great it is working with your son and having him on the team, but the son will probably tell you how difficult and how hard it is too. And to see him come up in those situations and be successful, it's rewarding for both of us. It truly is. But I think especially for Dante, the bigger part is that he was able to help out the team. And going back to that team concept, they are doing whatever it takes to get that win. And that's exactly what Dante did in those situations.
So let's look ahead at the championship game. You go against another team that's sort of a Cinderella in getting here, the number 14 seed Hopewell Vikings. Their record is just 500 at 11-11, but obviously they have played their best ball at the right time. When you look at them, and especially what they've done the past couple of weeks, what stands out?
I would have to say their pitching to get to this point. They have to have good pitching, and they have to be a good team altogether. But their pitching probably stands out the most to me from what I've seen so far, and that's what we're going into, expecting a very good pitching staff and dominant pitcher to start and talk about throughout the season, but especially now working our approaches a little bit better, whether we get those hits or get deep in a lot of counts and get them into a little bit of pitch trouble. So that's probably our main focus, but they're a great team. Don't let that record fool you. They're in the WPIAL championship, and that says a ton about them and their staff. So we're expecting the battle with them, and we're kind of anxious to get to Tuesday.
That reminds me a little bit of when you played for a state title. You were the head coach in 2017, and you went against a team in Whitehall that I think also had a 500 record and really kind of just made a late surge after struggling. Speaking of that, winning a WPIAL and a state title 6 years ago as the head coach, do you think back to that team and maybe compare and see some similarities?
There's so many similarities. I've talked to a few of the guys from that team, and the teams that we beat that year in the WPIAL run are almost the same teams as we beat this year. Montour, Char Valley, going into the championship against a team we really didn't know anything about or have ever played before, to some of the victories, the walk-offs that come from behind. There's a ton of similarities against our opponents, but also the mental side of it. That team was very close-knit, and they bought into the team concept and whatever it takes to get that next win. And there's a lot of similarities with these teams.
Biggest keys to success to capture the championship against Hopewell?
We got to stay the course and keep playing our kind of baseball. Get that great pitching and solid defense, and work our counts. We can't be too anxious, especially against good pitchers up there at the plate. We really have to work and go out there and hunt our pitches. And I think if we do that, we have a good shot. But again, I'd like to know a little bit more about Hopewell, great team in the playoffs. And like I said, we're pretty anxious to get going.
Final thing for you. I know for these kids, this is something new, playing for a championship at Wild Things Park. You have been through this scenario before, but how special of a moment is it for these players and really for the entire Latrobe community to see their baseball team going for district gold?
I think anytime a sports team from the high school advances like this, it's good for the community, draws attention into the school and the community. And for the kids, it's a huge moment. A lot of them work their way up through the lower leagues, working and aspiring to get to this level. And the work that they've put in is truly being rewarded now. These kids put a ton of time in the off season, the hard work that they've done, and reaping the rewards from it now. But they're not done yet. They're not satisfied yet.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for taking the time. Congrats once again on getting to the championship. Good luck in the championship and beyond.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.